So on today's episode of Taking Back My Power, I've got a fellow guest by the name of Janet Lane, who I've previously interviewed on another podcast. I'm going to be asking Janet about a situation where she felt like her power was taken away from her, what she done to regain her power, how it made her feel once her power was taken away from her, and if there's any advice to people out there that she can give. So thank you, Jeanette, for agreeing to be on my podcast.
My pleasure.
So yeah, can you tell the listeners about a circumstance or a situation that you've been in where you felt like your power was taken away?
Yeah, I believe that as a woman of colour, there is always a struggle to fight, to take back control, very much of your identity and your right to be you and not to be judged. And I recall one of the times that I really struggled with was when I was first qualified as a social worker, and I was doing work in the prison. So I was visiting 2 prisons each week to work with people with substance misuse difficulties. So they were male prisons. And what I found very interesting was, as we know, the prison service is very male dominated.
Yep.
And they can be quite, as they say, misogynistic, and rude and disrespectful to women. And one of the issues I had was getting past them just seeing me as a female object, and to work with them to make them see me as a woman. In the beginning, it was very, very difficult because they were keen to make rude comments to me, to see how I would react, what response they would get from me. It was hard because I think your first instinct is to react and tell them off for being so rude and disrespectful, which then I think encourages them to continue with that behaviour. It did affect me. It made me feel very insecure. I lacked confidence because of the things they were saying to me and how they were making me feel. And being in an environment where you're sort of surrounded by prisoners who are all male, plus the prison staff, who the majority of them were male, very few females in the role at the time. So it was very difficult because I was fighting against 2 groups. So there was the prisoners that I was having to encounter their comments and attitudes and behaviour. And then there was the prison officers whose behaviours I was encountering as well. For me, going away and thinking about how I could actually manage it and what I could do differently that would help me to not only gain the respect that I needed to be given, or that I felt I should be given, but also to take control and gain some power myself for me and over them, in the sense to show them that you may think that I'm a pushover, but I'm not, and I'm expecting you to show me some respect the same way I am respecting you. So one of my ways of kind of dealing with it, that was one of the ways that I dealt with it, going away, reassessing and thinking about ways in how I could address the situation without causing conflict and making people feel like I was being aggressive, because I often feel that Black women are misjudged and can be seen as very aggressive and very angry, and therefore it can create conflict. It's about conflict.
So you said that, you were working in like an all-male prison and you feel a bit, what's the word? Not threatened, but like you never had anyone to talk to because you were surrounded by the male prisoners and the male officers. So the company that you were working for at the time, was there any female employees that you could go back and report to?
No, to be honest with you, they were all male as well at the time. So it's quite a male dominated environment that I was working in on both sides. So it was very much about me dealing with a lot of the situations that arose on my own. I'd discuss it with my manager and things like that. But really, in terms of reporting, I think it's also about people's inexperience and lack of understanding, because a male's not real, and some people might say that's not true, but it is. Times are changing. They're changing very, very slowly. But when I first started working in the care field, it was the acts were very, very different. We still have a very long way to go. You know, attitudes are slowly changing. So I felt quite alone. I didn't feel that I actually had much support around me. So it was very much about me. How could I use my skills? I think I used my skills as a social worker and a person that quite easily build relationship in a positive way, that I used that to enhance people's knowledge of me as a woman, as a black, and that's how I really kind of got through it.
And so once you got through it, once you broke the barrier, once you broke the stigma of just because you're a woman, that doesn't mean you're an object. Once you got through that hard barrier, how did it make you feel?
It made me feel good because what I wasn't doing was reacting. It was all a test. In the end, I was told it was all a test. And that's the behaviour that they displayed whenever a female came into their environment. So it was a test to see how I would handle the situation. And for me, it wasn't about causing conflict. It was about educating people and being very clear with people that I wasn't willing to accept that disrespectful attitude towards me, and being very clear about, I've come here to do a job and I have respect for you, so I expect you to respect me back. And that was how I managed the breakthrough, because then, you know, I needed them to protect me whilst I was in an environment where for a female it could be very unsafe.
Yeah.
So I needed their support and I needed their help. So I you know, in a way, I manipulate them in order to be able to get what I needed, which was them to support me whilst I was there doing my job. And it worked. And you know, that when you look around, there's people manipulating time, but it's about, for me, it was about, I needed something from these people and I couldn't afford great enemies. So I needed to find a way to get them to help me to do my job. And that's what I did. And I felt very powerful because it worked.
So for anyone that is going through a similar situation where they feel like they're in a place where they just need to regain some control of their power, what advice would you give to them?
I think everybody's different and everybody deals with situations totally different way. And for me, I would say, if you've got someone that you are close to, that you can talk to, now it's very different. There are lots of places where you can get support and advice. There's a lot more training for managers, supervisors, you know, there's lots of sort of things in play that workplaces should have in place to support people around their mental health and well-being. And you know, having your power taken away affects your mental health, because it affects how you feel about yourself, how you feel about you might be doing a job. So it's really important that now for people, if there is support there, you make use of the support that's available to you. At my time, when I first started out in the field, it was very different. There wasn't as much support available to people. Now a lot of issues are being recognised and are being addressed by a lot of employers. So even if there's a friend that's very supportive that you can talk to help you talk things through and look at how to manage a situation and address it differently. Sometimes I think when we're in the moment, we become quite clouded and get quite angry and upset and become reactive to a situation. And sometimes it's better to take yourself out there, try and have some time to think through, work through, or talk to somebody about it, to allow yourself the time to manage and deal with the situation differently. That's important because...
And looking back now, is there anything that comes to mind now that you would have done differently then?
No, I definitely, the way I did things, you know, the way I did what I needed to do for my own health, well-being, and to be able to do my job, I felt I managed and executed my plan in such a way that I ended up getting all the help and support that I needed. So I don't think there was anything I'd do differently. I think I did the best that I could in order to safeguard myself, but also give me the opportunity to do my job well.
Well, thank you very much, Jeanette. Hopefully people will be inspired by your story. Thank you.
I hope so. It's important that people look after themselves, and as women, we particularly need to ensure that we are cared for and looked after, starting with ourselves. And we need to have good people around us that will care and support us too.
Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Charlotte. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.